Steven Suptic, as many of you might know, is a man with a very unique online history. He started off under the username MLGHwnt in 2011 as a Minecraft gaming channel, which was common for many at the time. But being experienced in the field of computer graphics, Steve would develop high-quality animations that would become recognizable content on his account. Specifically a series known as Wild Adventures, which featured him and his friends surviving a dystopian world during an apocalypse. On top of this, he also posted Minecraft minigame videos known for their fast-paced editing and unique brand of humor. He'd go on to develop many connections to other Minecraft YouTubers of the time, and created another animated series called To Kill a YouTuber, where a popular online figure would appear and Steve would murder their character in a unique and comedic fashion. This series even featured Markiplier at one point. But on top of this, Steve would also co-found a skit-based collab channel known as Bam Lounge that would post sketches and pranks, growing popular from 2014 to 2016. But Steve would eventually shelve his Minecraft content and leave the group channel to rebrand himself.
2015 was quite a year. I'm actually just scrolling through my channel to see some dope shit that I've done last year, and it just seems like it's a lot of Minecraft. You know what? Wasn't really that cool of a year, but 2016, oh my god!
He changed his account name from MLGHwnt to Steven Suptic and began making personality-based live-action content. He would begin to post videos that used aspects of vlogs reminiscent of comedic skits on the Bam Lounge channel, but with his own twist. This content would be coined the Steven Suptic Experience. Thanks to the connections he'd made, Steve was also able to join SourceFed, a media company owned by Philip DeFranco, and launch a collaborative gaming channel funded by the group. This channel would become known as Super Panic Frenzy. Meanwhile, as Minecraft was seeing a decline going into 2016, other creators and friends of Steve, such as Clayton James, or Kib as he's better known, were forced to shift their content as well in a similar direction. However, in August of that year, Super Panic Frenzy came to an end, and 6 months later, SourceFed as a whole would close for good.
Hey everybody, raise your hand if you still have a job.
But this streak of bad luck proved to be very much a blessing in disguise for Steve, since it would force him to refocus his efforts on his main channel and join forces with Kib, among others, to develop his content further, until it had essentially become wholly its own. This content was known as Alternative Lifestyle, and took the form of a mockumentary series with characters in a world, but told in a vlog-based format. The channel was then renamed again to Sugarpine 7, the name of a cabin from the series that the characters lived in, and content began being released regularly. It was even picked up by Rooster Teeth, another popular media company who funded future episodes. But on April 1st of 2017, after this new arrangement was in place, and having grown to dislike the older content, Steve deleted his backlog of videos prior to 2015.
What do you guys think is the motivation between your transition from the old stuff you guys used to do to the stuff you're doing now?
Well, I think I'm proud of what we do now. I think that's a big difference.
Definitely. Holy shit.
I deleted all my videos.
Yeah.
He actually deleted them. Can we just talk about that for a sec?
Are you still like...
Yeah, there were we made movies, dude, that were memories, but you don't give a shit about memories, so he actually deleted them, didn't unlist them, deleted them.
Unfortunately, things didn't go well from here. 2 years later, Steve and co were fired from Rooster Teeth, forcing them to end Sugarpine 7 entirely with the exception of a weekly podcast called Beyond the Pine that continues to this very day. In terms of his lost videos, though, things went quiet for years, with fans such as myself thinking most, if all, were gone for good. Following the deletions, re-uploads weren't common since most likely a lot of the viewers from the Minecraft era were still just kids, or had grown up and moved on completely. That's why in 2019, as Google Plus was being deleted, I collected hundreds of defunct links that were automatically posted to Sugarpine 7's page when the site was still integrated with YouTube, and combed through every saved capture from the Wayback Machine to dig up as many videos as possible. I mostly did this because my friend Alex was a big fan of him way back when, someone who you may remember being in a lot of my videos before, including my Leafy skit from 2016 and my early Let's Plays. For his sake, I had attempted to gather Steve's videos, and once in hand I was going to post them in my archive channel. But following the Mumkey Jones deletion and the subsequent striking of his re-uploads, that account got caught in the crossfire and I was forced to take it down. I didn't get a chance to put up any of the videos, but before making another channel, I found out I wouldn't need to. In mid-2018, a new channel was created called MLGHwnt Project, and began seeking out and reposting videos of his around this time, a number which reached a staggering 538 before the uploader ran out of material. I reached out to him and found that these had come from both the collection of videos he'd grabbed back when they were still accessible, and Wayback Machine saves like I myself had been using. And later on, he discovered that many of Steve's older videos had been posted on Youku, the Chinese YouTube equivalent. In the exchange, I handed over my collection to pool with his, and soon enough the entire collection had resurfaced through his re-uploads. But through it all, one video in particular remains missing that's crucial in understanding Steve's history and the takeaways associated with it. From the very beginning up until the present, the channel has undergone many shifts, but during the now expunged Minecraft era was one of the most brilliant pieces made in the entirety of his career. This was known as Ladder Farts Minecraft Mario Parkour. posted on April 5th, 2013. Now, it may seem random, but this one video served as the perfect embodiment of the humor and improv skills Steve possessed, paired with his snappy editing abilities that tied the project together by condensing material down to only the very best and with heavy stylization. It's very rare to see true artistic integrity on YouTube, much less the Let's Play genre, since more often than not the focus is directed on either the game or simply the figure playing it. But ladder farts represents a niche category that exists outside the established norm, and this cemented itself as a cornerstone of the MLGHwnt channel. But by strictly adhering to a standard of quality leagues higher than anything else Steve produced throughout the entirety of his channel's history. Of course, all of this is subjective, but if we were to embrace subjectivity in its truest form, what would separate the great works of artists like Da Vinci or Van Gogh from kindergartner doodles? I think even the most skeptical would agree that Ladder Farts is Steven Suptic's magnum opus, a true gem among his other work even when the rest is still good in its own right. But much like how during World War II when the Nazis raided countless museums and pillaged the great works of art from their homes, so too was Ladder Farts taken from us with unrelenting hostility. The hostility that stems from the unfairness of life itself and that greatness is able to be lost for the shallowest of reasons. Much like how a person may live their entire life coveting a certain possession, only to die and have it be carelessly thrown away. But such is the way of the world, and this truth must be accepted. Steve's mass deletion of his older content represents the death of an era and the ultimate loss that comes from it. While Steve himself may be living and breathing to this day, the man we once knew as MLGHwnt has been dust in the wind for years with a skin puppet carcass wandering around in his place. In a way, this is a reality for everyone. The body replaces every cell and atom contained within itself every 7 years, and in a spiritual or emotional sense, people can become unrecognizable in as little as 1 day or remain stagnant throughout their entire lives. But there is no way this is true for Steve. For the same entity to have introduced such a magnificent piece in this undeserving world couldn't also be the one at the reins in orchestrating its destruction. Or maybe this too represents another great reality of life, of how change can lead to one's own destruction, similar to how Julius Caesar rose to power but would ultimately end up being killed by his own men for never relinquishing it. So you're probably asking yourself, why this particular video? What is it about Ladder Farts Minecraft Mario parkour that makes it better than the rest? It seems like an arbitrary choice to make one's own magnum opus, of course, but I guess the only explanation is the complex inner workings of fate itself. Maybe Steve had not intended to create such a masterpiece or failed to recognize it as such, which would explain why he was so willing to nonchalantly pull it from existence. Perhaps this marvel was assembled through simply chance as one perfect cosmological constant. The right particles being positioned at the right time to form what I believe to not only be one of the greatest artistic creations on Steve's channel, but also one of the most ingenious pieces of our time. An opinion which I am not alone in possessing. Alex feels this way as well, if not to a greater extent than myself, and was in fact the one to change my life by introducing me to it. And Ladder Farts is not only a masterpiece to viewers, but even to those who were lucky enough to have been in close proximity with Steve himself at the point this gem was being developed.
Ladder Farts is Steve's greatest video. God, I remember the day like it was yesterday. There was a chill in the house, a scent, have you? It was incredible. It's hard to explain, but then I saw it for myself. It was amazing. 10 out of 10 masterpiece. It changed my life. It changed it.
But now that it's wiped from Steve's channel, the question remains, is Ladder Farts still out there? I began my search checking all the most conventional hosting grounds for lost media. The video was nowhere to be found on the MLGHwnt project channel, and no other re-uploads exist on YouTube. I managed to acquire the URL through third-party sources cataloging Minecraft videos and find vague traces of its existence on sites like Twitter and Facebook, but nothing substantial. Plugging the URL into the Wayback Machine unfortunately yields nothing in the way of captures, although the video can be seen in the sidebar of some of Steve's other saved content. From this, we can see it had at least 17,000 views relatively early into its lifespan. I managed to get a hold of the video's thumbnail through a diehard fan of Steve's who recognizes its true greatness, but unfortunately he did not possess the video itself. I searched archive.org's user-submitted file database, but could find nothing other than the very same videos I myself posted. I scoured through every known YouTube competitor such as Vimeo, BitChute, Dailymotion, Storyfire, and even foreign equivalents such as Bilibili and Youku, which did contain some amount of Steve's content as the MLGHwnt project channel pointed out, but none of them had this particular video. When searching the title or URL through Google itself, very little relevant results emerge, and none of which contain the file in any form. Even Steve himself doesn't have the video, since he stated the only pre-2015 content he'd saved was his Wild Adventures series, and the videos taken down from the MLGHwnt channel were deleted, not privatized, making it impossible to reverse their removal or extract them in file form.
Some of us actually liked Wild Adventures, by the way.
I actually have all of Wild Adventures. That's the only series I saved. Yeah. But every other video I deleted because I don't believe in nostalgia.
Why'd you do it, Steven? Where are the videos, Steven? Why aren't you answering my texts, Steven? Why did you do it, Steven? How could you be so rash? Why would you do this to us? To grace us with such a creation and then take it away is... It's cruel. The closest thing to an archive of ladder farts is a recording conducted by the popular Minecraft YouTuber Gizzy Gaza during the same playthrough with Steve. But unfortunately, this video lacks the essential qualities brought forth from Steve's perspective and post-production work. While it may be possible to stitch together an alternative form of ladder farts from this, much like JonTron fans did with Apples and Breaks, too much of the material is missing to create a worthy replacement. I did my best to recover the recordings of other creators in the video, such as Jeff Fillman and Vince, but their backlogs have gone missing as well, and no evidence exists that they were even recording during this particular collaboration. So at the end of the day, it seems ladder farts may be gone for good, especially as most of those involved have seemingly moved on, including Steve, who's now a popular Twitch streamer. The only chance of recovering this video lies with random fans or anyone who may have saved it for one reason or another prior to its deletion. Most others in my position right now would write this video off as being lost completely, but given its cosmological importance to our world, I couldn't sleep at night knowing I'd given up without a fight. Nor could Alex or anyone who's seen the beauteous creation that is Ladder Farts Minecraft Mario Parkour by MLGHwnt. So to all those listening, I urge you to venture out online and recover this video however possible. Ladder Farts is out there. An artistic creation of this caliber doesn't simply vanish completely, but its survival is now in your hands. Happy hunting.
It's